Hello everyone, I am the one and only Boiler and I welcome you. So today we will have a look at my shopping list that I have for my new PC that I will be building. And you can see we are ready to go. I have the shopping list here on the right and we will dive into that in a few seconds. Before we can do that, I just need to explain something to you, and that is that this video will not be exactly as I announced it in the introduction last time. So I announced that this will be about my shopping list and also about some tips and insights about how you would select components for your own system. Now, I did that video actually. I did that exactly as announced yesterday, but after playing it back, I realized that I created a 2-hour monster that even I myself did not understand. You see, the problem was, of course, I was on one side talking about my shopping list, and on the other side I tried to do a example build for you guys to show you how you would select components. And well, when talking about two systems at the same time, one of which I intimately know because I have spent a lot of time researching it, and the other which I just sort of tried to wing it, just try to select some components from the store that make sense together, and yeah, it just didn't make sense at the end. And yeah, I can't do that to you guys. I mean, you deserve quality videos, and I try to provide that whenever possible. And yeah, so I will do that in a different way. I will actually make two videos now. I will make this one that you are seeing right now, which will be exclusively about my build and about my shopping list. And then I will make a second one where I will really make a example build that makes sense, that is easy to follow, and where I will really explain in depth how you would select your components. So yeah, if you are interested in that, you have to wait a few days. I'll do that, promise you. But for now I need to do the shopping list here, because tomorrow I will actually start building my system, so I can't put this off any longer, and the other one has to wait. So if you are still interested in just seeing me talking about my build, then please stay and watch it. I hope you will enjoy it. If you're not interested in that and you're just here for seeing the information about yeah, well, how you would build your own system and how you would select components, then be patient. The video on that is coming sometime next week. So yeah, be back then, and I hope I can then provide a quality video for you that will actually be helpful. So without further ado, let's dive into my shopping list here. Now we are on digitech.ch, which is a Swiss web shop where you can order all kinds of computer components and electronic devices and home media stuff. So it's a really good site that we have here. It's has most of the parts that one would wish for, and it has good information and ratings on it. So yeah, it's for a Swiss PC builder, it's really a good site to get all the stuff. Now obviously I already ordered all of that. I have it behind me in a shelf because, well, tomorrow I will be building this system. But I have saved the list, and I will go through it with you and tell you a little bit about what I'm building here and why I am building it the way I do, and why I selected the individual components that I have here. So we'll save the graphics card for last, and we'll just have a look at all the other stuff first. So obviously what you will see here is that I got a Intel CPU. And I know, and I'm completely aware, that these days gamers usually go with an AMD CPU, because AMD is technologically actually more advanced than Intel these days, which is weird, because for most of my life it was the other way around. But yeah, Intel is still on 14 nanometers, AMD is on 7 nanometers. Intel just released their first PCI Express Gen 4 CPUs well, a few weeks ago, while AMD has been on PCI Express Gen 4 for, well, since sometime last year, actually. So, yeah, I don't know what exactly is happening there. So it seems like Intel completely missed the train here somehow. But yeah, anyway, so I have an Intel CPU here. I know that's not a good thing these days, but yeah, just bear with me. I will tell you exactly why I got this. There are two reasons for that. One is, yes, I am used to Intel because I had Intel all my life. Just one of my computers was an AMD one, and I don't remember that one fondly. I know AMD is better these days. It's actually better than Intel these days, but back then AMD was not that good, and that PC was a mistake, and it's just all the good memories I have with PC gaming are on Intel, and that's just me being used to Intel. So that is one reason. The other one is it has onboard graphics. If we go down here, it has onboard graphics, and it doesn't show actually here. So yeah, doesn't matter. It does have onboard graphics, which means I will always have a backup should my graphics card stop to work. I will still be able to plug in a display to my computer and do some basic stuff on there and troubleshoot and whatever, go to the internet, download some stuff, or search the internet for solutions to my graphics card problem, whatever. I mean, it's just really nice to have that backup when there is a problem with your graphics card. And I actually used that once on a one of my past builds where I also had onboard graphics on my Intel, and I actually found that useful one time. And yeah, this is why I want it again on my new build. So I got the i7-117K for that exact reason. So I'm used to Intel and I like having onboard graphics on my processor. So that's the reason why I got this. In terms of performance, I compared this to the AMD Ryzen 5 800X, which is a little bit more expensive, but well, this one here consumes so much power that in the long run, I guess the AMD would have been cheaper because it uses much less electricity. But when I compare the two together, well, in one game, the AMD 5 800X is faster. In the other game, Intel 117K is faster, and it doesn't really matter which one you get. The two are basically on par, at least when it comes to gaming. And both have 8 cores, they have similar clock speeds, both have PCI Express Gen 4, both have 20 lanes. Yes, AMD has 24, but 4 of these are reserved for the chipset, so in reality I have 20, so it's the same. Yeah, that's basically that. So these are very similar, but I decided to go with the Intel. And I promise all the AMD fans out there that if next time when I build a system, AMD is clearly more, delivers clearly more performance in the same price range than Intel does, I will switch to AMD. It's just this time I didn't see an advantage in terms of performance, and yeah, I wanted the onboard graphics, and I'm just used to this brand. So I went with the one I felt comfortable with, and that is never a bad thing to do. So yeah, I have an Intel processor in my new build, and I apologize for it, but it's the way it is. So obviously with an Intel CPU comes an Intel board, so I went for this one here. I went for the Asus ROG Strix C590F gaming Wi-Fi. No, I don't need the Wi-Fi, but well, that's just on there. I can tell you exactly why I got this board in a minute. So now obviously this is the new chipset that goes along with the 11th gen Intel CPUs, and I really find some features on that actually useful. So I could have gone with the 107K and the C490 motherboard, so that would have saved me a little bit of money. But I really wanted the PCI Express 4, and I really wanted these 20 lanes, and I will show you exactly why that is. So let's have a look at this board. So the key features I wanted on here is this M.2 SSD slot right here. So this is a PCI Express Gen 4 M.2 SSD slot that is directly linked to the CPU up here. So this is the fastest storage you can get, and we will have a look at that when we get to the storage section of my list. I wanted this specifically because I really hate stuff loading. I hate load screens. I hate waiting. I hate progress bars. I can't stand that stuff. So I'm really always, when I do a build, I am really always looking for the fastest storage I can get. I was one of the very early adopters of SSD for my OS drive back when SSD was new. My last build 7 years ago was a full SSD build. I did not have any hard drives in there because I just don't like hard drives. Jesus Christ, those drive me nuts. I can't tell you that. But yeah, I always go for the fastest storage. I do not care how much it costs. I just want to have the fastest storage. So that's why I wanted the newest generation of Intel, and obviously the chipset to go along with it. That's one. Then of course I also wanted additional M.2 SSD slots. Of course these are only PCI Express Gen 3, and these are the two down here. There's one here and another one here. I also wanted these because I want all my storage on this PC to be M.2 drives. So I have 3 M.2 drives, 2 terabytes each, so I have 6 terabytes of M.2 storage on here, which I think will be fantastic. Now I realize that these two only are connected to the chipset here, but well, the chipset is then connected to the CPU with what is basically the equivalent of 4 PCI Express Gen 4 slots lanes. So yeah, if you're not doing a lot of other stuff at the same time, memory access will still be crazy fast with these PCI Express Gen 3 M.2s down here. Now, on a side note, there is a fourth M.2 slot on here, and this one is just, I do not understand why this exists. Why is that? Yeah, because this is another PCI Express Gen 4 M.2 slots, but the problem here is obviously the processor has 20 PCI Express lines. The graphics card uses 16 of these. This drive here uses 4. So we have our 20. Now what the hell does this use? Well, if you put a drive in here, this will use 4 lanes that were actually going to the GPU, and because we can't do 12 lanes, the GPU will then run on 8 lanes, and 4 lanes will be completely wasted. So you'll have 4 here, 8 here, 4 here, and 4 are wasted. So I don't know. I don't know why this even exists. So seriously, I will not use that. I will use this one and these two down here. So what else? Yeah, I wanted obviously a quality board with lots of heat spreaders on there and heat shields and stuff like that. So I really like that. I have a little bit of cooling on my board. I wanted a board that will let me overclock some components. I will not do a crazy amount of overclocking, but I do plan on overclocking my CPU a bit. Maybe play around with the RAM as well. But yeah, I will not do a crazy stuff here. But I like to have the possibility, so I went for a board that is supposed to support overclocking. Now, what else do I want on here? Another feature that I wanted here is, let me show you the I/O panel. There are actually a number of features that I wanted on here. Now, obviously, I need full audio connectivity, and I like having the analog jacks here as well as an optical out. I wanted as many USB ports as possible, so this one has 10 USB ports, which is great. These are of varying types, so we have all kinds of generations and stuff on here. We have 2 Type-C ones, which is obviously great for future-proofing, and I also wanted to have both display port and HDMI output options on the onboard graphics from the Intel CPU. So some of the motherboards will come only with HDMI or only with display ports. I really wanted one that has both options, so I don't need to look for a cable. Basically, whatever cable hangs on the monitor, I can just plug it in there because it has both options available. Then I also wanted these two buttons here. These are really important to me. So you have a clear Cmos button that you can use if you mess up your BIOS settings and need to reset these. So you can clear your Cmos here on the back plate and do not have to open up your system. So that's really nice. And I also like having an easy way to upgrade my BIOS or update my BIOS. So I can have this button here for BIOS flashback and obviously the BIOS flashback USB port there. So these buttons and these two ports here are actually the important features on here, and lots of USB. Yeah, that's why I got this particular board, and I also like the design. Black, my whole build will be kind of black, so I really like that black style going on here. I don't really like the silver that much here, but yeah, that will be hidden behind the CPU cooler for the most part. So yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. So I would have liked if that was black as well, but yeah, it's what it is. So that's my board that I'm getting. So while my build overall is very expensive and very crazy in some regards, I didn't go for a Maximum or a Maximus or whatever motherboard. I really think these are overpriced, or basically they are not overpriced, but they have a lot of stuff on there I don't need. So this is a quality board that has all the stuff on there that I need, all the features. It is a quality build. It will do what I need. It will not hold back any of my other components. So this is a good board for my build, I would say. So moving on to to RAM. I would say we'll move on to RAM. So I got these Corsair Vengeance LPX 4 how do you call these? Well, 4 DIMMs, whatever, at 16 gigabytes each. So this is a 64 gigabyte set. Now you might think, what the hell is he using 64 gigabytes for? Well, I am using 64 gigabytes for my video editing. Now I'm realizing that for gaming, 16 is enough for, well, if you want to future-proof yourself, or if you are playing some crazy games that actually do use more than 16 gigabytes. There are games that do use more than 16 gigabytes. These are rare, but they exist. Whatever. If I would just use this for gaming, I would have gone with 32. I wouldn't have gone with 16 because while 16 is fine, I actually do play some of these games that do use more than 16 gigabytes. One of these is City Skylines, where I have like a few hundred mods on there, and it uses all the memory it can find on your system, believe me. So yeah, that's one of the examples. But no, I got this for my video editing because, well, the new system will be a 4K gaming rig, and obviously since I am doing Let's Plays and stuff, I will be recording in 4K, and I will want to edit in 4K and encode in 4K. So I need a lot of RAM for doing this because if you are editing videos, the files that you are doing your edit on are loaded into your RAM. So you can imagine with 4K gaming footage, yeah, these files are huge and they are loaded into your RAM. So you need a lot of RAM to handle that and not having a lot of stutter and waiting times when editing. So this is why I got these. Now, as you can see, these are very basic RAM. They don't have RGB or fancy heat spreaders or anything. They just have normal black heat spreaders on there. Nothing fancy going on here. They do come with a cooler, however, that I will not use. There's unfortunately no picture of it here. Nope, there's no picture of it here. I will show you when we do the build. But I will not use that cooler anyway, so I'll just use these as they come, and that's fine. I always had, it's actually funny, I always had Corsair Vengeance as far as I can think back. It's always the thing I default to is Corsair Vengeance. I really think these give you great value for your money. They are not overpriced, they have good performance, and yeah, I don't know why I should get anything else. Because RAM, yeah, you can get a few more frames per second out of your computer if you have really fast RAM with low latencies and stuff. But at the end of the day, it is not worth what you have to put into it to actually get these frames. I mean, at lower latencies and higher speeds, RAM get really expensive, and all these RGB and fancy heat spreader features and stuff like that also drive the price up. So no, I will not do that. I go with what I consider good value for my money, and they will do the job just fine. So these are my RAM, 64 gigabytes, DDR4 3200 obviously, because that's what the Intel's 117K will support, and I might do some overclocking on these, but yeah, I'm not sure about that. As I said, RAM usually you don't get much out of it if you try to overclock them or get some fancy overclocked and designed RAMs. So I don't know if I will do that. Probably not. Just show you a little bit more. They have latencies of 16, 18, 36 and 18. So these are not the best values, but as soon as you go lower, you will have to pay much more. So I can live with these values right there. So that's it for the RAM. Let's move on to storage. So I already told you that I got M.2 SSDs. So I got one of these guys here. This is a Samsung 980 Pro PCI Express Gen 4 2 terabyte. Now this thing is expensive obviously, but it is the absolute fastest storage you can get, at least as far as I know. And yeah, I always went with Samsung for my SSDs and never had a bad experience in, well, I guess over 10 years now. So yeah, I do Samsung again. It's a great brand as far as I'm concerned, and they do really good quality SSDs. Let's have a look here at the speeds of this thing. Now this is absolutely insane. I have pulled out a regular SSD for you here. So this is a regular SATA SSD. Again, 2 terabytes, and this is a drive that you will connect via a SATA cable to your motherboard. So this is the standard thing you have in your computer these days, and the read and the write speeds are around 560, 530 megabytes per second, which is of course crazy fast already. But look at the speeds on this baby here. This has a read speed of 7,000 megabytes per second. It will write at 5,100 megabytes per second. It is absolutely insane, and I'm really looking forward to this. Now, of course, these are always theoretical numbers. I don't know what we will get in reality. Maybe the number will be lower, but, well, the potential is there. And even if it only uses half of its potential, it will be 7 times faster than this. So crazy stuff here. So I'm really looking forward to this drive. Now, this will go into this slot right here, obviously, because it's the PCI Express Gen 4 one, and I will use this for my OS, for Windows of course, and also for all the games that have lots of load screens, so stuff like Skyrim, Fallout 4, games like these that have lots of load screens, because I don't want to see load screens. I will do all of that on there. I will put my programs on there, I think, or at least the ones I use the most. I might do a secondary programs folder on another drive, because I really want to reserve as much of the space on here for games, because this will be my primary drive that I will run all my important stuff off. So yeah, that's that. Moving on to the secondary SSDs, I got 2 of these. These are the 970 Evo Plus, and these are PCI Express Gen 3 drives. So again, 2 terabytes each, and yeah, I will use these as secondary drives. One will probably be for all the games that don't really need the fastest performance. I mean, there are a lot of games that will just load into your RAM, and then you will not see a load screen until you go back to the main menu. So these games are fine on here. But I will also get one for well, basically all the clutter, so all the video files, all the pictures, music and stuff like that. So I don't keep an archive of my YouTube videos, so I just can't pay for all the storage to store all my videos. So after I uploaded the videos, I will just basically delete them. Yeah, because, well, I can't store dozens or even hundreds of videos. I just don't want to deal with that. So this will just be a temporary storage for my YouTube videos until I uploaded them, and then they will be gone. And I will store, of course, some other videos that I want to keep, and some pictures and music on that. So yeah, this is basically my drive setup. One for the important stuff, then one for the secondary stuff, and the third one just for basically as data storage. Now, if I should run out of storage, but well, it's 6 terabytes, so it will be some time before I run out of storage. I can always, of course, install regular SSDs for long-term storage solutions, so I still have that option available to me should I need it. Okay, so this is storage, and I will just quickly show you the speeds. So these PCI Express Gen 3 ones have about, well, they are still much faster than the regular SSDs, as you can see here, but they have about half the speed of the PCI Express Gen 4 one. So they are still crazy fast, but not as fast as the PCI Express Gen 4. Yeah, then moving on, what else do we have? So we have storage. I will show you my cooler that I got for the CPU. This is my CPU cooler. It's a Be Quiet Dark Rock Pro. So this is one of the best CPU air coolers you can get. It has 2 towers of fins, it has 2 huge fans, and it will deliver a lot of cooling performance to your system. So this is really cool. And for the for the 117K, which is a CPU that consumes a lot of power, much more than it should. I have seen reviews talking about 300 watt peaks on the 117K, which is insane. I mean, graphics cards that use 300 watts are considered graphics cards that use a lot of power, and a CPU that uses 300 watts is just insane. But yeah, the 117K does that. And of course, for 300 watts, you need all the cooling power you can get, and this is exactly the thing I need for that. So I am really looking forward to using this. There are some more illustrations here. Yeah, you can see the setup with the 2 towers and the 2 fans here. So the middle one is larger than the outer one here. Yeah, and it just looks very, very cool. As I told you already, I'm doing a very dark build, lots of black in there, and for that I wanted a black cooler, and there are quite a few options these days actually, but this is just the one that delivers a great performance and also looks very, very awesome. So I really like that thing, and I looking forward to having this in my case here and being able to look at it. So when talking about cooling, we could actually move on to my fans. So this will be a air-cooled build, completely air-cooled. I don't do water cooling. I never have, and I never will, because I have made really good I have really good experience with air cooling. It has always been enough for me because I don't do crazy overclocking stuff. So if I overclock, it's always just a little. And I really got a case here, which we will look at in a second, that has great airflow, lots of space in it, so I don't really need to do the water cooling. So yeah, I'm going for air cooled, and these are the fans I will get for that. These are the Lanley Unifan SL120 RGB PWM fans. Jesus Christ, that's a name. And this is a 3-pack. It will come with a fan controller. And the cool thing about these is, as you can see, they are put together here, and that's not just a picture, that's actually a feature. So you can daisy chain these fans together. You can put up to 4 of these together. Obviously, in most cases, you will only be able to put 3 of them together at the most, but you could actually put up to 4 of them together. And then you will just have 1 cable run off the last fan. So basically, instead of having 3 fans, and actually these are RGB, so they will have 2 cables. So instead of having 3 fans with 2 cables each, you will have basically 1 chain of fans with just 2 cables for the whole chain. So this is really cool, and I also like the look of them. So I got the black variant again. I'm doing a lot of black with this build, and yeah, they have these hexagonal LED things going on here, which it looks kind of cool. So first I wanted to go with the Corsair Fans. They have obviously the round layout as most fans, so they have the round RGB, but I then saw these, and well, I like the feature of having less cables in my system, but then I also thought, well, that this hexagonal RGB pattern actually, it appeals more to me. So I really like that. I really like having something that is not, I mean, every case has round RGB fans, and having these hexagonal things is actually pretty cool because it's not something everyone else has. So I went for this because I think it's something a little bit different and it looks cool. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to these. And I will be having 9 of these fans in my system, and I will show you where when we get to the case. So we'll have 9 of these cooling my system, and I think that should be plenty. So yeah, these are my fans. And the weird thing is here, this is a 3-pack, as I already told you, with the fan controller in there. The fan controller can control up to, I think, 4 of these daisy chains. So if I have 9 fans, I will have 2 times 3. I will have 1 times 2, and I will have a separate one. So 1 controller would be enough for my whole setup. Now the problem is the individual fans. If you buy 3 individual fans, they are actually more expensive than the 3-pack with the controller. So what I did, I bought 3 of these 3-packs. Now I have 3 controllers, but I only need 1, which is kind of disappointing because, well, we want to be good to our environment and not waste resources. And now I have fan controllers that I don't need because it's just cheaper to buy these complete bundles than to buy the individual fans, which is, I think, not really well thought out by Leon Lee or whoever is responsible for that pricing policy. But yeah, it's what it is. So yeah, moving on from the fans, we will have a look at the power supply. So this is my power supply, and if you are thinking that this is too much, think again. We did not have a look at the graphics card yet, but let me tell you that the graphics card I'm getting is using 400 watts, and not just in rare cases. It will use 400 watts when it's under load, which is absolutely insane, but it's what it is. So the graphics card will use 400 watts, and my CPU will use 300 watts at peak. So there will be situations where just my CPU and GPU together will use 700 watts of power, and that's without all the fans, all the RGB, all the drives, the RAM, and all the other stuff that is going on within that case. And well, I want to be future-proof a little bit, so I don't want to be in a situation where I upgrade my system and my power supply is no longer sufficient, which is actually the case right now with my current build. I cannot put anything else in there because my power supply is scraping the barrel already. I don't want that to be the case with my new system. So I'm going for 1200 watts, which should be plenty for what I'm putting in there, and should have some headroom if I decide to put some more stuff in there, or maybe in a few years upgrade the graphics card to something that consumes even more power. I hope not. I really hope that this trend stops at some point, because 400 watts for a freaking graphics card, it is insane. It is no longer normal. I mean, this computer will consume more watts when gaming than my goddamn vacuum cleaner, and that's just not normal. Seriously, you can run an oven with these kinds of watts. It's just insane. So Yeah, I hope this trend will stop or even reverse at some point. But yeah, right now it's what it is. So I have a 1200 watt power supply. I didn't actually plan on getting as high quality as this one is, because this is a titanium 80 plus certificate, which is actually, I wanted to go gold or platinum, something like that. But the problem is, this was the only one that was available at 1200 watts from this store. So yeah, I went with this one. It's a little bit more expensive than I had planned, but at least I can sleep easy knowing that I have an absolute badass, high quality, highly efficient power supply with a beautiful brushed aluminum case, which I will never see because it goes under a shroud. So I don't know what it is with the power supplies these days. I actually found one from Asus that has RGB on it. And I was like, it's a power supply. In modern cases, you don't see the power supply, it's under a shroud. In basically every case I've seen, your power supply will not be visible once installed. So why the hell is there a power supply unit with RGB on it? And why do they go to the trouble to make a brushed aluminum beautiful case, actually? But you will never see that. You will see it when you put it into your case, and then it's gone. You will not see it again. So yeah, I would have liked to save a few bucks on here and just get a regular case here. So yeah, but then again, it's what it is. It's the whole build is so expensive that these few bucks for the brushed aluminum don't really matter. So yeah, that's my power supply. Of course, it is fully modular, as you would expect in this price range, and it looks very clean, very high quality, and I'm really looking forward to using this. Yeah, again. Now with that out of the way, I wonder, should we first take a look at the graphics card? Yeah, I think we should. Let's have a look at the graphics card. So I need to go to another store, because this store here doesn't even list the graphics cards. At least not the ones that are out of stock, because they basically run a policy of, well, if we can't get it, we don't have it on our store. Yeah, that's fine with me. I mean, I had to go to another store and buy it there. So Steg actually does have some 3090s on store every now and then, and I would just basically log in every day and see what they have on store until I could get myself to buying this insane price. Now actually it's gone up. I got this for $50 less than it is listed for now, so maybe I was lucky and this will go up even further. And because I was thinking, well, now I pay that much money for a graphics card and the next day it will go down, but no, it actually got up. So I probably got lucky there and decided to buy a graphics card when they were still a little bit cheaper. So yeah, time will tell. Now of course this is crazy. This is under normal circumstances I would never pay this kind of money for a graphics card, but I need to build a new PC, and I thought a little bit about sticking my old 1080 Ti in my new build, but then I realized that if I do that, I will be spending like $3,500 on a new computer, and when gaming on it, I would not see a difference because it's the same graphics card. I would have the same frame rates that I got on my old computer. I would not be able to buy a new display with 4K resolution, and it didn't make sense. I realized that if I'm doing a new build right now, I need a graphics card, and unfortunately I can't afford that stuff. So I spent that money on that graphics card, and it still hurts me, I can tell you. I mean, being able to afford it is one thing, but there's always something more intelligent you could do with your money. I mean, spending that kind of money on a graphics card is a stupid thing, no matter how much money you have. I realized that, and I feel bad about it, but I will stop feeling bad about it once I fire up my new computer and will be able to play my games in 4K, I guess, or I hope. So let's have a look at this card. So this is the Gigabyte Aorus GeForce RTX 3090 Extreme, 24 gigabytes of VRAM. and I know that's probably a little bit more than we need these days, but I have seen examples of games actually using up to 17 gigabytes. So I did a little bit of research on how much VRAM you need, and there were actually examples to be found where games went as high as 17 gigabytes. So yeah, I rather have more than I need than not as much as I need. So yeah, and I just wanted the 10% more performance I get out of this one compared to the 3080, and 3080 is completely not available right now. That's the other thing, but I really wanted these the additional performance that you get out of this one, because, well, on 4K you actually still do not get very great frame rates, even with the most powerful cards. I mean, this card here, there are some games with max settings you will get like 40 to 60 FPS, which is playable, but it's not great. Even with this card, and now consider the 3080, which has less power, you will get like 30 to 50 FPS or something like that. Yeah, I really want to be able to get to play as many of my games as possible with max settings on true 4K. I will use DLSS wherever I need to, but I really want to avoid it as much as possible. So I really spent my money on the most powerful card I could get my hands on, because I really want these additional frames, because they could make the difference of playing a certain game, a specific game in 4K, in true 4K with max details or not. So yeah, that's why I spent that crazy amount of money on this card. And well, to be fair, it is a beautiful card. It was just the one that they had available at the time when I decided to actually spend that money. So it could have been another card. It didn't necessarily need to be this one, but I really like how it looks. It's a beautiful card from all angles, actually. And it has a nice little feature that I don't really need, but I think now that I have it, it's not really a bad thing. That's this little display here. This is actually a display. You can put different things on here, your custom images, there's a little Oros Dragon animation or something like that, and you can of course have your GPU temp displayed here and custom text and stuff. So this is really nice to have, so because I will be able to see that from where I sit. I will actually be able to see that, so that's really nice. I can always have a look at my graphics card temperature, and yeah, I really like that actually. So this is cool. I don't need that, but it's on there, and I think it's cool. Yeah, and for connectivity, of course, we have 3 display ports here and 3 HDMI, which is cool, so I can hook up all my displays to it. Right now I have 2 displays. I think about getting a third one for some use cases, so yeah, I have all the connectivity I need on here. Yeah, that's the box it comes in, and yeah, it's a really nice card. I'm also looking forward to using this in my new build. So yeah, now that we have this out of our way, let's go back here and have a look at where is it? At the case. There is it. So this is the case I got, and this is a case you will see a lot these days when looking at custom builds, because this is a very popular case, and it comes in different variations. There are normal sized variants, there are small sized variants. This is the XL variant because I really like to have a lot of space, and I really wanted to be able to install this bad boy here, and I could not install that in the normal sized variant, so I really needed the headroom to install this. Now, this is a really, really beautiful case, I think. It took me a while to select my case, actually. I spent a couple of weeks researching cases and looking at lots of reviews and custom builds and really trying to figure out what I want, because cases evolved a lot since I last went shopping for one. I mean, I bought my last case 7 years ago, and a lot has happened since then, because 7 years ago, I don't know if there were already cases with complete glass side panels. I think not, because I was really surprised to see that. Definitely there were no cases with complete glass front panels. Yeah, and there were very few cases back then that didn't have an optical drive bay, and these days almost no case has a optical drive base. So I was kind of freaked out by how much cases evolved over the last 7 years, and I spent a lot of time researching cases and trying to decide what I would get. And I zeroed in on this one because of a few features that it has. Now, first thing, obviously, it is beautiful. I really like that sleek design with the brushed aluminum again, with the tempered and how do I call it? So it's not fully transparent. It has a dark tone to it. So I really like that dark glass. And it has obviously lots of space in it to build stuff in there. It has lots of cooling options. I will show you that in a moment. And it has this RGB strip here, which I really like. So this is a beautiful case. And one thing I really like is that it has the I/O panel on the front. You see, most cases have the I/O panel on top still, and I do get that for cases that you want to put under your desk. But I've seen that with a lot of cases that are really beautiful, and I look at this case and be like, well, I will put that on my desk, and a lot of people actually do, but then why is the I/O panel on the top? So I really wanted one that has the I/O panel on the front, or even better on the left side down here. There is at least one case that does that, where you have the I/O panel exactly here, because it's really designed to be put on the table and not underneath it. But at least I wanted it on the front, and I really like it because I can comfortably reach that from where I sit on my desk. So that's a nice feature to have. So let's look at a few pictures here. Obviously, we have lots of cooling. You can see you can put 3 fans in the bottom to intake air and cool your system. You can put 3 fans in the top to output hot air. You can put 1 in the back, and then there's another option to put 3 fans here in the side. These panels, you can take these out and then install fans here. And when you look at it from this side, you see that there is mesh, so you can intake air from this side as well. This mesh here is only for the power supply. So this is not for cooling, this is just for your power supply, so that it gets some air, and we'll have a look at that here. So there is obviously the space for your power supply, and then you can have your drive base up here, or you can install additional power supplies if you want. There's actually, I think, enough room in this case to have a dual system in there if you want, and you could have a secondary power supply, or just 2 power supplies powering your one system if you like that. So drive base, I will probably take them out. I don't need those. These are plates where you can mount your SSDs on, I think. I'm not really sure, but I will take these out, of course, as well, because I want to have the side cooling fans here in here. So yeah. That's that. Yeah, this is a really beautiful case with lots of cooling options. So it is designed for custom water cooling with its 2 glass sides and a lot of space in there. So you can you should build a custom water cooling system in this to really show it off. But I will not do that. I will go for a air-cooled system, as I already told you, and I think it will still look nice. And yeah, I have lots of airflow in there, so I'm not really troubled by that. So I really think I will have enough cooling even with just using fans. Yeah, there is a closer look at the I/O panel. So you got your usual stuff. You have USB, I think it's Gen 3. You have Type-C USB. You have your power and reset button, and of course separate audio jacks for headphones and microphone. And a nice little feature is that down here you have 2 more USB ports that you can use that are a little bit closer to the bottom of your desk. So if you have something that is permanently connected to your computer, you can run the cable along, basically take it out here and run it underneath or something, so you can hide it better than when you just plug in stuff up here. So I think that's a really nice little feature down here as well. So yeah, that is my case that I will get. I will do actually a little review about that with pictures from the build and when I take it apart and stuff like that. So I will do a little review about this. that you can watch. So look forward to that. And that's it for the computer itself. So I think I got everything covered. At least if I look at my list here, I have everything. So, well, there's one little thing here. This is my thermal paste that I will be using on the CPU cooler. Thermal Grizzly, crying out, it comes highly recommended. It should be better than the one provided with the cooler, or if there's I will get hopefully a couple of degrees more out of my cooling system. So I got this. It's really inexpensive, so considering the cost of the whole build, this doesn't really matter. That's a thing. And then of course we have the peripherals down here. So let's take a quick look at these. Obviously my 4K 43-inch screen that I got for the new build. I'm really looking forward to using this. This is the Acer Predator CG437KP. This is a hopefully great display. I don't know, and I know it's a BGR, so I'm a little bit worried there, but well, I didn't find a non-BGR gaming panel at 43 inches. I just didn't find one. So all the RGB panels are not meant for gaming because they don't have the necessary response time. So yeah, I went with this, and it has some good reviews. And well, obviously not on this side, but if you Google for reviews for this screen, you will actually find some very good reviews about this. And I hope that the BGR will not freak me out too much. I already have a few solutions found to the problem on the internet, so I will try these and see what I can get out of it. And I will mention this in a little review that I will do about this screen once I have used it for a week or so, and I will come back to you with a video about it and tell you how I feel about this screen. I'm really looking forward to this. I have 32 inches right now, and I really look forward to getting up to 43 inches. This will be huge, a huge improvement over what I have currently. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this as well. Then for the peripherals, I got a Logitech G815 gaming keyboard. This is really nice, and this picture sucks. It's really tiny. Let me see if we can enlarge that a little. Oh, a little bit. Yeah, like this. So this is a really nice keyboard. I actually have this already. I have been using it for the past few weeks. This is a great keyboard. Really nice looking with brushed aluminum. No, that's not brushed aluminum. It's just an aluminum plate. And then we have great RGB on here. Macro keys work like a charm. It has really nice tactile keys that give you really good response when typing and just feel really high quality. It's a great keyboard. So I've already been using this. It's obviously one with a cable. I don't do wireless keyboards. I just don't. I'm an old guy. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I like cables. Deal with it. I like cables. That's my statement right there. So I'm a cable guy. Yeah, and it's just an overall really great keyboard. I really enjoyed playing with this. And yeah, this is for the new build, but I already got this and have used it a little bit on my old build here. So now I need to zoom back a little bit because it's insanely large right now. So let's, I think one more, yeah. Then for other peripherals, I will be getting the Razer Basilisk version 2. I don't have this yet because I will get this once I get another voucher for this site. I get vouchers for this site every now and then, so I will buy this one when I get another voucher. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I already well had this in hand in a shop that I visited, and it seems like a really great mouse. It has great reviews as well, and I'm really looking forward to this. This will be my first non-Logitech mouse. I mean, I have been playing computer games for like 25 years, I guess, something around that. I never had a mouse that was not from Logitech. Never. I never had a keyboard that was not from Logitech. All the keyboards and mice I ever had were from Logitech, and I will break that tradition with this. So just to show you guys, I will also be able to part with Intel once AMD is clearly better on a performance level. So I'm not a fanboy. I just use whatever I think is the best gear I can get. So, and with the mice, I decided that this will be the Razer Basilisk and not a Logitech product this time around. So I will be getting this. I'm looking forward to using this, and yeah, that's my new mouse then. And last but not least, I am not just a cable guy, I am also a disc guy. I have all the discs here. I have CDs, CD-ROMs, DVDs, Blu-ray discs. I have it all, and I need a optical drive on my PC. I need to be able to read these discs. I need to be able to write discs. I know I'm a freaking dinosaur. I don't care. I like discs. Not for my games. I have Steam for my games, but for everything else, I like discs. I have a movie collection on discs. I have a TV show collection on discs. I have a huge music collection on CD. And yeah, that's just how I roll. I roll with discs because they are round and you can roll them. No, sorry for that. I really like having an optical drive even these days. So, and since I really have all the formats that I just mentioned, I really have all of that. I have everything from CD to Blu-ray disc, and I use all of that on a daily basis. I really need a good optical drive on my build, and since my case obviously does not have an internal drive bay, I got an external drive that I will connect via USB, and this one really got it all. I can write and read basically everything on this thing, and yeah, this is my connection to the past, basically, if you would call it that. So, and it has a nice stand. You can put it like this. You can just put it on your desk if you want. Doesn't really matter. Comes with all the options. And while one thing I need to say about this, while it looks really nice on this picture, the case is really cheap plastic. Really, it's really cheap plastic. I already got this out of the box because I wanted to look at it, and I mean, I'm sure it's a quality drive in terms of technology that is in there, and it's a solid build and everything, but the case is as cheap as they come, really. I mean, this blue little thing here doesn't change anything. That's the only nice thing on there. The rest is just the cheapest plastic you can imagine. So, yeah, that's my optical drive. Yeah, so we covered the entire build, and as you can see, the price tag is pretty crazy. So we have 4,800 bucks on here, and we have another 3,000 bucks for the graphics card. So all in all, we are talking about 8,000 bucks or 8,000 Swiss francs for my new build. It's yeah, next time I'm building a PC, I probably will need to win the lottery first to be able to afford all that stuff. It's crazy. It's absolutely butt ass crazy, I have to tell you. I mean, my last computer didn't even cost half that. Seriously. My last computer, or my current computer, is it's not a bad computer. It was a really powerful machine when I built it, and it just with a new graphics card it would still be able to run your current games, and probably even on 4K without much problem. So yeah, I wonder what happened, really. I mean, I know the graphics card is an issue here, but everything else, I feel like everything is getting more expensive. Seriously, I've never spent as much money on RAM. I've never spent as much money on storage. I've never spent as much money on a power supply. It's just absolutely crazy. I mean, the fans and the case are one thing. I could have gone with cheaper options there, but I just really wanted to show what I have this time around. I mean, my last build is sitting under the desk, but this time I really want to show off what I have. I want to put it on the desk, especially with the kind of money I'm putting into this, which really bugs me if you know, as you probably can't tell. But yeah, it's what it is. I need a new computer, and that's the price I have to pay for it, because I just can't make compromises. I'm absolutely incapable of making compromises when it comes to hardware, as you can see clearly here. But yeah, I mean, as I told you, I thought all of this out. I mean, for everything I got in here, there is a reason why I got this particular part. It's not just like, yeah, I want the most fancy, expensive part I can get. I actually showed you that with the motherboard and the RAM, I don't get the most fancy and expensive parts because I know I don't need them. But, well, I need or want the fastest storage I can get because I know I will get a benefit from that. I know I will see an actual benefit when using my system. I want the most expensive graphics card because I know it will give me more FPS, and I am ready to pay the price for that. So these are things that I'm not just spending my money blindly because it looks fancy and because it says on there on the box that it is the best or whatever. I have reasons for it, and I had reasons for it when I built my last system, and I still didn't end up with 8,000 freaking Swiss francs. Yeah, so I'm really curious about the next build that will be in 6-7 years again. So I really am curious if the price will be as high as this time, or hopefully it will come down a bit, because if I do this every 7 years, I mean, think about all that money that goes into this hobby. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. But don't fear, in the next video when I will build a example computer for you guys, it will not be a crazy ass 8,000 Swiss francs machine. It will be something around $1,500 or something like that. So I will do a reasonable build for you guys, where I show you what you can get for far less money, and you will still have a powerful gaming machine that might not be able to do the 4K in high detail or and stuff like that, but will still be able to run all your games and do all the other stuff you need doing on your computer. So yeah, so we are at the end of this video. It should be around an hour long, I think. Yeah, actually it is quite exactly an hour long right now. I hope you liked it. I hope you didn't mind my ranting at some points, but yeah, I'm just I can get a little bit emotional about stuff sometimes. Yeah, I enjoyed telling you about my shopping list, and yeah, I will build this monster tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to this, and I hope everything will go all right, because as you saw, I spent a lot of money on this, and if I break something, I will be really upset. Or if I don't break something and at the end it will still not boot up, I will be mad as hell. But yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. I have built 4 PCs before this one. All of them booted up the first time I pressed the button. I had no issues whatsoever with any of these, so I really hope that this will be the case this time as well. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. I hope you will be back for that one. I hope you will watch me build my system and you will enjoy that. And as I promised you guys, the example build with a sane budget will be coming. I will do a video where I will explain how you select parts and how you stay within your budget and all that stuff. I will do that for you guys. It will be coming sometime next week, and I hope you will be back for that one as well. So until then, I wish you well. I hope you have a great time. You stay safe and stay healthy, and yeah, see you next time. Bye.